Let me start with a confession, because after 22 years with my hands inside these vehicles, I've earned the right to be blunt with you. All-wheel drive is the single most oversold feature in the car business. Not the most useless, oversold. There's a difference, and that difference is going to save some of you real money in the next 20 minutes. Here's what happens. You walk onto a lot in October. The salesman points at the little AWD badge on the tailgate. He says the word safety. Maybe he mentions your family, and something in your gut relaxes. You feel taken care of. And you pay $2,000, sometimes $3,000 more for 4 letters, without ever asking the one question that actually matters. What does this system do when the road turns bad? Because here's the secret the badge doesn't tell you. Most of the all-wheel drive systems bolted into new SUVs right now are what we call reactive. They drive the front wheels, 95% of the time, exactly like a cheap front-wheel drive economy car. They only wake the rear wheels up after a sensor notices you're already slipping. After. You're sliding, the computer thinks about it, then it acts. On dry pavement, you'll never feel it. On a sheet of black ice at 6 in the morning, that half second of thinking about it is the whole ballgame. So I did something about it. I went through the systems, not the badges. I pulled the 2026 IIHS Top Safety Pick ratings, the December 2025 Consumer Reports Reliability Report, J.D. Power's 2025 resale data, the EPA fuel numbers, and Kelley Blue Book pricing. And I asked one question over and over. Which all-wheel drive SUVs on sale right now are actually engineered to keep you planted and won't quietly bankrupt you the day the warranty ends? Out of the entire market, 3. 3 I'd put my own name behind. And the one sitting at number 1 is a vehicle you've driven past 1,000 times without a second thought, which is exactly why it wins. But before I show you the 3, I have to give you a test. Because once you understand this test, you will never get fooled by a tailgate badge again. I call it the badge test. 3 questions. Any all-wheel drive system that can't answer all 3 is a badge, not a system. Write these down. Question 1. Does it engage before you slip or only after? This is the whole game. A reactive system waits for a wheel to spin, reads the slip, then shuffles power backward. A proactive system is already reading wheel loads, throttle, steering angle, temperature, and it's moving power before the tire ever breaks loose. Mazda actually says this out loud in their own materials. They describe their iActive all-wheel drive as always engaged, proactively monitoring the vehicle's dynamics in real time, unlike basic systems that only react to a spinning wheel. When a manufacturer is willing to throw that kind of shade at the competition in writing, you should listen. Question 2. Can it send power side to side or only front to back? A lot of systems can move torque from the front axle to the rear axle and call it a day. The good ones take the power on that rear axle and shove nearly all of it to the one wheel that still has grip, left or right, individually. That's called torque vectoring, and it's the difference between a system that helps you in a straight line and one that actually helps you around a slick corner. Question 3. Is it standard or is it a line item? This one's about your wallet. On some vehicles, all-wheel drive is baked in. Every trim, no upcharge, no negotiation. On others, it's a $2,000 option a dealer will use as a lever to push you into a higher trim you didn't want. Standard tells you the company built the car around the system. Optional tells you they built it around the invoice. Now, before anybody types it in the comments, I want to be dead fair about something, because it matters more than anything else I'll say today. Even the 3 best all-wheel drive systems on Earth will not help you stop. Consumer Reports tested exactly this at their own test track in Connecticut, and they were blunt about it. All-wheel drive did not help with braking, and it didn't help in certain cornering situations either. Michelin puts it in one sentence I want you to tattoo on your brain. Your drivetrain helps you go, only your tires help you stop. A front-wheel drive car on 4 proper winter tires will outbrake and outcorner an all-wheel drive SUV on worn all seasons every single time. So whatever you buy today, if you live where it snows, buy the winter tires too. The all-wheel drive gets you moving, the tires keep you alive. Both, not one. Okay, test in your pocket? Let's count them down. Starting at number 3. Number 3, the 2026 Honda Passport. I'll be honest, this one surprised me because the old Passport was a soft, comfortable, forgettable thing, a stretched CR-V with a lift. Honda took it out back and rebuilt it from the ground up for 2026, and the result is the most genuinely capable all-wheel drive system on this entire list. Not the most sensible, the most capable. There's a difference and we'll get to it. Let's run it through the badge test. Question 3 first because it's easy. The second generation IVTM4 all-wheel drive system is standard on every single 2026 passport, every trim, no upcharge. Done. Question 1. Proactive or reactive? For 2026, Honda stiffened the whole thing up. According to reporting from Top Speed in April 2026, the new rear drive unit handles 40% more torque than the first generation setup and responds about 30% faster. And question 2, the side-to-side test, is where it earns its spot on this list. Per Kelley Blue Book, the IVTM4 system can send up to 70% of the engine's torque to the rear axle, and then route 100% of that rear torque to either the left or the right wheel individually. That is real torque vectoring. That is a system that can physically pull you through a muddy, off-camber corner by driving the one wheel that still has bite. 3 for 3, with more muscle than anything else here. Underneath, it's a 285 horsepower, 3.5-litre V6 with a 10-speed automatic, riding on Honda's light truck platform shared with the Pilot. And I want to be precise because I've seen this reported wrong. This is a unibody, not an old-school body-on-frame truck. It has 8.3 inches of ground clearance and it'll tow 5,000 pounds. The Trail Sport trim adds steel skid plates, all-terrain tyres, recovery hooks, and an off-road tuned suspension. This is the one vehicle on the list you can actually take somewhere, and the safety backs it up. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety named the redesigned 2026 Passport a Top Safety Pick Plus, their highest award, and it's right there on the current 2026 winners list. Now the compromise, because there's always one, and this one has 2 parts. First, fuel. That V6 is thirsty. You're looking at roughly 21 miles per gallon combined, around 18 or 19 in the city on the Trail Sport with its all-terrain tyres. In a world where a lot of these SUVs are touching the 30s, that's a real number you will feel at the pump. Second, and this is the one nobody wants to hear, it's an all-new, first-year redesign. Consumer Reports has said the same thing for decades, and they said it again in their December 2025 report. Be cautious with a brand new or freshly redesigned vehicle, because the first model year is where the gremlins live. Now, Honda finished as a top 5 brand for reliability in that very same report, and the V6 itself is an old, proven design, so I'm not scared of it. But I'd be lying if I told you a first-year truck carries zero risk. It carries some. And the price. Per Kelley Blue Book, the 2026 Passport starts around $46,200 with destination, and the Trail Sport you actually want is closer to $50,000. This is the most expensive vehicle on the list, by a wide margin. So who should still buy it? Simple. If you actually leave the pavement, if there's a forest road, a boat ramp, a cabin at the end of 2 miles of dirt, a trailer in your life, this is your SUV, and nothing else here keeps up with it. But if the wildest thing your all-wheel drive will ever see is a snowy Costco parking lot, you're buying a capability you'll never use, and paying for it every single time you fill the tank. Be honest with yourself about which one you are. On this list, that honesty is worth about $15,000. Number 2. The 2026 Mazda CX-50. If the Passport is the one you buy with your boots, the Mazda CX-50 is the one you buy with your hands and your head. This is the driver's pick, and it's the vehicle that made me want to make this whole video, because Mazda did the thing almost nobody in this price class does. They made all-wheel drive standard on every gas trim, and they made it proactive. Straight to the badge test. Question 3. Standard? Yes. Every gas CX-50 comes with iActive all-wheel drive, no upcharge. Question 1. Proactive or reactive? This is the CX-50's whole identity. I read you Mazda's own language earlier, and I'll stand on it. iActive is always engaged, monitoring the vehicle's dynamics in real time to catch a loss of grip before it happens, instead of waiting for a wheel to spin. It watches things like wheel loads, throttle position, even the windshield wiper signal, because if the wipers are on, the road is probably wet, and the system preloads for it. That's the kind of engineering that never shows up on a spec sheet, but shows up in your stomach the first time you take a wet on-ramp a little faster than you meant to, and the car just handles it. Question 2. Side to side? It's not a hardcore torque vectoring off-roader like the Passport. It's tuned for on-road grip and light trail, so it earns 2 clean passes and an honest, good enough on the third. For 99% of the people watching this, that's exactly the right balance. The safety here is genuinely best in class. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety named the 2026 CX-50 a Top Safety Pick Plus, their top honor, and the federal government, NHTSA, gave it a 5-star overall rating. Mazda, as a brand, earned more of those IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus awards for 2026 than any other automaker on the market. That's not marketing, that's a pattern. And then there's the way it makes you feel, which I don't usually spend time on, but the CX-50 forces the issue. The interior punches a full class above the price. The materials, the layout of the controls, the way it steers, this thing feels like a $45,000 European SUV, and it starts, per Edmunds, at around $29,900 with destination. There's a base engine with about 187 horsepower and a turbo that jumps to 256 on premium fuel, with a genuinely strong 320 pound-feet of torque. Now the compromise, and I've got 2 for you because you deserve both. First, fuel economy is nothing special. Edmunds pegs the base engine at about 28 miles per gallon combined, and the turbo at around 25. And they said it plainly, neither number is particularly good for a small SUV. Second, and this one stings a little, Mazda slipped. In that same December 2025 Consumer Reports Reliability Report, Mazda, a brand that has spent years near the very top, fell significantly. Now, let me be fair the way I promised. The CX-50's gas engine is a simple, conventional 4-cylinder with a normal automatic, no exotic hybrid hardware, and it's not a first-year design, it's been on sale since 2023, so the mechanical bones are sound. But the brand-level trend moved the wrong way this year, and I'm not going to hide that to protect a vehicle I happen to like. And I do like it. One more small thing, and it's a real trade. The back seat and the cargo area are tighter than a CR-V or a RAV4. Mazda chose style and driving feel over maximum box. Know that going in. So who should still buy it? The person who's going to drive this car, not just sit in it. If you want the best feeling, best steering, most premium compact SUV with a genuinely intelligent, always-on, all-wheel drive system, and you're okay giving up a few miles per gallon and a little cargo room to get it, this is the one that'll still make you smile 3 years from now. It's the enthusiast's honest answer. Number 1. The 2026 Subaru Forester. I know, I can already hear some of you. The Forester? The car my dentist drives? Yeah, that one. And I'm putting it at number 1 with total confidence, because when the question is specifically all-wheel drive worth your money, not the most exciting, not the most capable, worth your money, nothing else even comes close. Let me prove it with the test and the receipts. The badge test, and the Forester runs the table in a way nothing else here does. Question 3. Standard? Subaru built their entire identity on this. Every Forester, from the base car all the way up, comes with Subaru symmetrical all-wheel drive. There has never been a front-wheel drive only Forester. It is the company. Question 1. Proactive or reactive? Symmetrical all-wheel drive is a full-time system. It isn't sitting in front-wheel drive waiting for a slip. It's driving all 4 wheels all the time, which is the textbook definition of proactive. And for the current 6th-generation car, Subaru revised it. Faster center differential lockup, less wheel spin off-road, and, this is the clever part, it now reads your steering angle to help keep you stable as you turn in on a fast, wet road. Question 2. It's managing grip across all 4 corners continuously. 3 clean passes at the lowest price on the list. And now the receipts, because at number 1, you don't get to just vibe, you have to bring the data. Reliability. In the December 2025 Consumer Reports report, the big one, built on data from around 380,000 vehicles, Subaru finished as one of the top brands in the entire industry. Top 3, right up there with Toyota and Lexus. Resale. J.D. Power ranked the Forester number 1 for projected resale value among all compact SUVs for 2025, an honor they hand to only 10 vehicles in the whole country. Safety. It's a 2026 IIHS Top Safety Pick. It carries a 5-star overall rating from NHTSA, and the Forester has now earned IIHS top-tier safety recognition 18 years in a row. Read that back. 18 consecutive years. There is no other vehicle in this class with a safety record that long. And the price is the knockout. The 2026 Forester starts at $29,995, about $31,400 with destination. That is the cheapest way into a proactive, full-time, standard all-wheel drive system on the market, attached to the best resale value in the segment, a top 3 reliability brand, and an 18-year safety streak. That is what worth your money actually means. Not the flashiest dollar, the hardest working one. Now, I promised honest cons on every vehicle, and number 1 does not get a pass. The Forester is not fast. It's 180 horsepower out of a 2.5-litre Boxer 4, paired with a continuously variable transmission, a CVT, which means when you really stand on it to merge, you get that droning rubber band surge instead of crisp shifts. It is not a thrilling car to drive hard, and the fuel economy, while good, roughly 26 city and 33 highway, is not hybrid territory. If squeezing every last mile out of a gallon is your top priority, that's a different video and a different vehicle. So who should still buy it? Honestly, most of you. If you want the maximum amount of real, proven, always-on, all-wheel drive safety and value for the minimum number of dollars with the lowest ownership risk of anything I've talked about today, you buy the Forester and you never think about it again. It is the definition of the smart money choice. The dentist, it turns out, did the math. So there it is. 3 all-wheel drive SUVs I'll actually put my name behind in 2026, and every one of them earned it by passing the same test. The Honda Passport, if you genuinely leave the pavement, the most capable system here, as long as you can stomach the fuel bill and the first-year question mark. The Mazda CX-50, if you want the drive of your life in a compact, with a proactive system and a cabin that shames its price, and you can live with average mileage. And the Subaru Forester at number 1, because when the words are worth your money, full-time all-wheel drive as standard, at the lowest price, with the best resale and an 18-year safety record, is an argument nobody in this segment can beat. And remember the thing that ties the whole list together, the thing the tailgate badge will never tell you. All-wheel drive helps you go, it does not help you stop. If you take one thing from a 22-year mechanic today, let it be that. Buy the system that's proactive, not reactive. And then, if you see real winter, put 4 proper winter tires on it. That combination will outperform a $50,000 badge every time. Now I want to hear from you, and I mean it. I read the comments on these. Which of the 3 actually fits your life? And the one I'm more curious about, is there an all-wheel drive SUV you swear by that I left off, something that passes the badge test that I should have included? Make your case down below. If it's a good one, it might be the reason I make the next video. I'll see you in there.